It's Tuesday. Time for another episode of RayMart Radio.
Oh, did you miss me? Well, guess what? I'm selling it. That's right, and I'm going to keep on selling it.
It's the RayMart Radio Show.
Some of it you're going to like, some of it you ain't.
RayMart Radio. Radio.
Okay, last week we talked about what the women wanted from the men. And the women had some great response. And we really appreciate you women for responding. So we tried to turn the table just a little bit and see what the men really wanted from the women. But the response was not very good. I think the men they have that macho mentality where they want to be some macho person and they don't want the spouse to know exactly what they want. I think that's going to keep them guessing. I don't know. We're going to go around the table and find out what they think the men really want. Then I'm going to come back and let you know what they really do want. Okay, Ben, we're going to let you go first. What do you think men really want from women?
Men need a lot of assurance. Men need to know that they are appreciated, that they're on the right track, and that their woman appreciates what they do for their family.
Okay.
I think.
You think?
You tell me.
But you will know for sure when you get home tonight.
I'll take all the tips I can get.
Yes. Okay, Chiquita, what do you think men really want from women?
Well, I can't speak for a lot of men, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll speak on my man of 23 years. Well, when I first met him, I think he just wanted a strong woman to back him, somebody to give him a lot of TLC, tender love and care, and I'm still doing it after 23 years. He want a faithful woman that, somebody's just going to be there for him and love him.
And I think you're probably about 99.9% correct. Mm-hmm. Because you have just named everything that I was thinking of that I think I would want in a woman. Mm-hmm. Okay? Teresa, what do you think men really want from a woman?
Well, actually, she took my answer. But
sorry.
But pretty much men are a lot different from women. They gotta have that macho sense, and a lot of times men they definitely need a strong support system and loyalty. But the difference is that men won't ask for help when they need help, and a lot of men need to have a stronger woman that can see that he does need help, because we are very attentive, whereas a man is. So a lot of times when he need help, he already expect us to pretty much know what he needs. So a lot of attention and affection and loyalty, I feel like that men really want. They just want that support system, that even in, they don't want to feel like if they mess up that they got to worry about not having someone there. They want to make sure that they got that strong support system. Mm-hmm. The backbone, that when they can't be the backbone.
So do you think it's hard for men to vocalize what
Absolutely.
they need?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Because they don't want the woman to feel like that they are soft. Mm-hmm. I don't know why men want to be that way, but it's okay. It's okay. But Teresa, you touched on just about everything that I was going to say. Mm-hmm. The three things that a man really needs from a woman is support. You touched on that. Loyalty and intimacy. Okay? Every man wants a woman to make them feel special. Okay? Now, last week, the number one thing was effective communication. The women want the communication, but the men don't see that communication is important. But I believe it goes both ways. Because the woman wants to be able to communicate with the man. The man should want to communicate with your spouse, because that's very, very important. We will always preach, teach, or whatever you want to call it in here is effective communications. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't communicate, you're wasting your time. Okay? Moving right along. My next question is going to be, why do men feel intimidated by their spouse when they make more money? Or if they're more educated, better credit, or ability to maintain the finances? Why do men feel intimidated when that happens?
Thinking back to the old days, I mean, you know how it used to be. The man was the breadwinner. The man was the head of the household. But nowadays, you don't have to have now, a man can be the head of the house, but as far as taking care of the household things, the woman can do that. I mean, you know, some men want an independent woman to do that for them or to do that with them. We don't have to put 100% of the responsibility on the man. So as far as him feeling intimidated, I don't really know if that's the word, that they are feeling intimidated. Some men, they want that.
A smart man would.
That's right.
Okay? Because if I had a spouse that made more money than me, then by all means, because that's coming to our household.
Right.
Okay? I'm happy for you. What can I do to help you make more money?
That's what my husband says. My husband says he would not care at all.
Absolutely. But you do have some men that feel like they are the breadwinner and they should be the one doing it, even though you have some that's not even capable of doing it. Because of what, Teresa?
I think it's more of the younger generation. The older generation, our age group, men, you know, a lot of times, seriously, the older people instill in the younger generation that the man's supposed to do this and do that and do this, that, and the other. But tradition changes. You know, it doesn't mean sometimes you can have a college degree and doesn't mean that you're going to make X amount of dollars. But because of what's been instilled in them, they feel like they're less of a man if they're not making, you know, more than their spouse. So a lot of it is what what you've been traditionally taught. That's just, just how I look at it. But it shouldn't be, because, like I said, you can have college education now and go out here and still not able to find a job that's going to pay you, sufficient amounts for what your education calls for. But I just think it's like tradition, it goes on tradition. But I feel like if you sit down sometimes beforehand and you talk and you both have an understanding, like you said, everything is coming into the house. So it's not like you may make this much, but it's still put it in one pot and it's gonna, it's gonna supply everything you need. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's more of a traditional trend.
Yeah, but last week we talked about what the women wanted, and all the things that the women wanted, that's cool. Because the men should want the exact same thing. But there was one thing I'm not too sure about, and that's security. I think the man should be the one to provide the security, because I think our definition of security was not just a safe home. I think it was something else we talked about.
Security in your relationship.
Security in the relationship. Okay. If you do security in a relationship, then I think that applies for both. Mm-hmm. But when our listeners said security, and I'm not really sure what she was talking about when she said security. So if it's security in a relationship, then I think that goes along with it. But the number one thing a man desires in a woman, number one was respect. Sex came as number 2. Mm-hmm. Friendship with the spouse. And number 4 was support. A man wants a lifetime partner, and he wants that reliability. That's what the real man wants. Now, if you want a lot of other things that's materialistic, then so be it. That's what you desire. But we're here to give you the the points on where a real man would want to give his spouse. We don't claim to be professionals. We're just speaking our opinion. Okay? So men, we got to get on the ball. Okay? We really do. At the end of the show, I'm going to have something just for you men. But we're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back right after this.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Set 'em Free Bail Bonding Company. If you're ever in need of a bail bondsman, you know what to do. Call Jean Dixon. She can do the impossible. Her number is 252-521-1529. She's serving all North Carolina jails and detention centers statewide. Call Jean Dixon.
Visit the Purpose Church in Durham, North Carolina. Senior pastors Bishop Dr. James Farmer Jr. and Pastor Lori Farmer welcome you to their Sunday service at 2 p.m. and also on the second and fourth Friday night live at 7:30 p.m. Come and be blessed and be a blessing at 2700 North Roxborough Street, Durham, North Carolina. The Purpose Church.
And they're out of Durham, North Carolina. And thank you for listening in, and we really appreciate that. And we're going to move right on. Okay. We're here talking about what men want from women. Okay? And we ran down to number 4 things that men want. But I don't think we reached out to the men like we wanted to. So, Beth, you're looking like you got a question. Go ahead.
I was curious whenever you posed the question, how many men actually responded versus how many women responded.
Absolutely. And that's something we did talk about, because when the women responded, there was 19 women that just kept going on and on. But the men, they sit back and they just look and listen, but they don't respond. Is the reason for that, Chiquita?
I don't know why they're not responding, but I want to address the number one thing you said. Men are looking for respect. Well, men, you already know the deal. What do you have to do?
Give it.
Earn it.
You got to earn it. You can't just expect a woman to respect you. You have to do certain things for her to respect you. She's not going to just do it for no reason. I mean, we are respectable women, but you know what I mean. You got to earn it. You got to earn it.
And I don't have a problem with that.
You know, you can't get mad at somebody and talk to them any old way and expect everything to be fine. And men will get angry and they'll get over it. And women get angry and their feelings are hurt. And you cannot talk to a woman any old way and expect her to get over it. And men, I don't know, it's just easy for both sexes to say stuff that you can't take back. You have to be careful what you say. Always be careful what you say.
If a man was to say something to you, Teresa, and he hurts your feelings, what would you expect him to come back and say to make you feel better, or for you to forgive him?
First of all, if you're in a relationship, you pretty know who's sincere, what's sincerely said, and what's sincerely apologetic. My thing is, because I've been through situations, and I think we all have, is that the difference is that when a man, like Beth said, if he say I'm sorry, he thinks it's okay, and he goes on and carry on. But even in saying you're sorry, your actions have to show that you're really sorry. And my thing is, they'll say, well, I made a mistake. A mistake is once, maybe perhaps twice, but repetitionally is a choice. Mm-hmm. So my thing is that when you start making choices to say whatever, then it's no longer a mistake. And then you're not sorry for what you said. And a lot of times when you say stuff, at me personally, I never say stuff I don't feel. So if I ever said it, then I actually meant it. But a lot of people take anger or for them to bring it out. So me personally, you have to really be sincere, and I have to really see that you're sincere in what you're doing, what you're saying.
Okay. Steve?
Even if a man hurts your feelings and then they come back to you and say, well, I was just joking, people know there's a little truth in jokes, you know, and I don't think that a man should apologize just to appease the woman. He really has to be sincere and mean it. Apologize from the heart, not because she wants you to apologize.
But so that's what I said. The difference is it went with women. We're attentive, you know, because we pretty much, the average woman that's with their significant other, pretty much, when we bond, we bond. So we pretty much almost can call it out before it even happened. And that's where men are different. Men think with, and women, men do things because they want to do things. Women have to have reasons for doing things. Women's feelings are involved in what they do. So we're not just going to blabber out this, that, and the other. We said it pretty much. We meant it. But a man, to get back at us, a lot of times they'll say hateful things. And all it does is just dig a deeper hole for you.
But let's make it perfectly clear that that don't apply to all men.
No, not all men. I'm just,
Okay.
no, not all men. I'm just saying in general, the average woman can't really tell what's true and what's sincere and what's not. Because a lot of times, you know, guys will say stuff just to, like, you know, she said it's just to appease the woman, but we really know the difference. You know, you can tell the sincerity in somebody. Because like I said, with women, we pretty much already know before it even really happened.
I believe that can go both ways, because a man can actually say to a woman, I love you, and mean it from his heart, and she still won't believe it.
I think in situations like that, and it, like you say, it goes both ways. I think, which is probably another subject, but I just think a lot of time past relationships and baggage has a lot to do with that. And you end up hurt. You know, I don't believe hurt people hurt people. I don't believe in that saying. People hurt people, and that has nothing to do always with being hurt. But hurt people have a tendency of overthinking. You know, because they're always on their they're always on the defensive end and thinking that someone is out there, and someone can really say I love you and really mean they love you. And just because we've been through so much, we're afraid both ways to take it at value. And men have a harder time, just me thinking, than women will. Because if he's been hurt, a lot of times he's really, really hard to reach.
But you know, you can say I love you all day long, but your actions show
Right.
where you really are.
That's
So-
the difference between loving you and being in love with you. That's the difference too. You can love a person and not be in love with them. Because if you're in love with a person, then you really can't hurt that person. You can't hurt anything that you're in love with. So it's a difference. You got to know the difference between being in love with somebody and just loving them.
Okay.
So if a person is skeptical, their actions show
Right.
who they are. You can say anything. Anybody can say anything.
Yeah, so y'all just really beating up on the men tonight.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I was just in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Tranquila?
If a man tells a woman that he loves her, she can feel if he's telling the truth. You can feel love by the things that he does and the things that he say. You know if he loves you or not.
But I believe there's some women out there listening right now that they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear a man say, I love you. Probably because she don't want him to love her.
Because she a gold digger.
Or maybe, right. And she might not want to love him back.
Right.
And some people feel obligated to say it back to him if they say it to them.
Right. And then they say it back, but they really don't
Right,
mean it.
right.
They're only saying it because they said it.
It's a little awkward if somebody says I love you. You're like, thank you. I mean, kind of weird.
The normal response would be what, Chiquita?
I'm thinking back to when we were younger. You were, no, you don't. No, you don't. But if you really love a person and they tell you first, it's okay to say it back to them. But don't say if you don't mean it.
Don't say it.
No.
That's right.
I'd rather you not say anything if you don't mean it.
Right. Right.
But every man wants to hear it. I believe every man wants to hear it.
But you can say, I'm very fond of you, but I don't think I'm at that stage right now.
If I'm in a relationship with a woman and she say that, then we got a problem. We need to talk.
But you can't force anybody to love you.
You cannot.
If the lady say I'm fond of you, then accept it and keep working until she does love you. You can't make that lady love you just because you love her.
But if I love her and she's fond of me, that means I have some work to do.
Maybe you failed quicker than she did. Well, yeah, you got work to do.
Okay.
Because you want her to get to that point.
But what she said is true. You can't make somebody love you, period. So, I mean.
Would you rather for her to lie and say, "Oh, I love you too"?
No.
Well, okay then.
No.
Well, what's wrong with her saying, "I'm fond of you"?
If she says that means I have work to do. That means I got to go back and find out where I'm failing.
So, do you think that two people fall in love at the same time all the time?
Are you going to make her love you?
That's the same thing.
No, they don't.
That's the same thing.
You're not going to make her love you.
No. You can make her feel love, though.
But that's not even really a time frame on love. You know, you can be with somebody 20 years and not be in love with them.
And you can fall in love with people emotionally.
Right.
Yes.
Just like the online dating we were talking about.
Yes.
You can love somebody emotionally, and it doesn't have to be anything physical. But you cannot force love. If it's not there, it's not there.
Nope.
If it's not there, it's just not there.
True. I actually put on my Facebook page the question, what does men really want from women? And pretty much the saying the same thing, respect. But one gentleman just said peace.
Meaning they don't want a woman nagging all the time.
I think we talked about that last week. Peace was one of them.
He just said peace. And you know the thing about it is, a man, especially when he go home, he done worked all day. He don't want to go home to a nagging woman. I mean, I'm a woman, so I'm telling you, he don't want to come home to a nagging woman. And we as women sometimes, because we're not getting that attention, everything, you know, I mean, a man's quick to say it ain't all about us, you know, it ain't all about you. And men don't want to hear that all the time. You come home and you ain't even saying, how was your day, or this, but they want peace. You know, a man really want, he's saying, and I understand what he's saying. That you
and that's
want
so
peace.
true.
You want peace.
That's true.
You could have had a bad day at work, and you coming home, and that man expecting that woman to be the soft spot and the comfort part, and you come in and you nagging, and he ain't got peace. You got a whole lot of more.
Home is supposed to be your sanctuary,
If
right?
you don't have nowhere else to go, you definitely.
Yeah, you had a hard day at work, and you out there and you try to show that your spouse, that you love her and all that, and you're really thinking about it at work, and so you put something on Facebook and you walk in the door and they say, "Why did you put my picture on Facebook?" And that just killed everything.
You know what, you're right, because it's kind of hard for men to share their spouses or their significant others on Facebook,
Men
on social media.
don't do it.
They don't do it. So we as women, if they do that, that's a whole big step there.
But if you get beat up because you do it, that's because they're not used to somebody doing that.
But do you take the time to assure them that it's okay, or do you go off on them? Men?
That's comes that word. What's that word?
Communication.
That's it.
But communication. But do you take the time to make sure that the woman is understanding, baby, this is why? Or do you just go off the rocker because you say, I put it on Facebook, ain't that good enough? But do you take time to just actually?
Absolutely. Take
You
the
say,
time
"'Cause you're
and
beautiful,
explain.
baby, and I'm proud to be with you."
And I want the whole world to know.
Yes.
Okay? Right?
That's right.
But men don't do that. They really don't put it out there like that. I don't know why, but, you know, some women do like that. They like their spouse, you know, putting them out there like that, showing them attention. Let the world know that we are together. We are happy. And this happiness that we have, we want to share it. And I don't see anything wrong with that, but some women just don't want to be out there. So we're going to give those women that respect, and we're not going to post them on Facebook. We just going to tell them on the phone or in person that how beautiful you are and how much we love you. Okay? The world just has to figure it out. Okay? So, now that we've got that out of the way, we've talked about the things that women want, things that men want. And we're going to try to narrow this thing down and see where the intimacy comes in there, because we didn't talk about that a lot. So if you're listening out there and you got the children in the room, right now would probably be a good time to send them to bed or to doing something else, because right now I want to know, we're going to go around the table with the intimacy, because that was on the list. It was on the men's side and the women's side. But I think that's very important because that's a part of the relationship.
Can I say something right quick?
Yeah.
How you gonna send the kids to bed? It's not even 7 o'clock.
It feels like it's about 10 o'clock. True.
Right.
Anyway,
Poor kids.
we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it clean. We're just gonna get a point across, and we're gonna go around the table and we're gonna talk about the importance of the intimacy part of that relationship, because that's number 2 on the man's list. It was number 2 on the man's list, but on the women's list, it was way down to the bottom. Maybe the women don't find it as important as the men. Now, I don't understand that, but that's just the way it is. Why is it that way? I guess because once you get into 50s and 60s, you don't find it too important. But
False, untrue, not true, wrong.
okay, so I guess I was wrong. But there's a reason why it's low on one list and high on another. Why is that? Okay, Teresa, go ahead. You about to bust.
I am about to bust. I think that with the men, that they feel like they gotta be the stud of everything. I'm telling you, and the reason I say that is because men feel like if they can't perform as much as they want to, then it makes them feel like they're less of a man. A lot of men will sit there and feel like in their mind it's telling them, if I can do this, do that, do this, do that, it's the most important thing, then they're a hero. But if they can't, they feel like they become zeros. And that's not necessarily true, because women want more than just sex. Can I say that on the air? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can
sex.
say that. You can say that.
Because the kids gone to bed. Was just sex. Because with the woman, a lot of times men think with their, and women think with their hearts. So everything is not as easy as, baby, we can make up by doing this, that, and the other, because it's more to that than just that. I mean, you can have sex with anybody, but you can make love to your spouse.
That's what I said last week.
You know
Any
what
two
I'm saying?
people can get together and do
Yeah.
the things, but intimacy
It's a lie.
is love.
That's true. And the thing about it is, and if you're just doing it to do it, after it's over, can you have a conversation?
Now I think when it's over, you probably want to take a nap.
But what I'm saying to you is, are you able to have a conversation? You may want to take a nap, but what I'm saying is, my point about it is this, not actually have a conversation, but what I'm saying is, other than this intimacy part, are we able to have a conversation?
Yes,
What?
if you can do that, then that shows that you have a strong relationship. I believe that's where the effective communication comes in again. Everything you do,
There you go.
communication is there. If you can finish your whatever it is, and you can just lay back and have a conversation, I think it's great. Go ahead.
Intimacy goes well beyond sex.
Right.
Well beyond sex. You can lay in the bed together and not have sex, but you can still be intimate with one another.
Absolutely.
And you
I
better
agree.
get in the habit of doing it now, because you're going to get to the age one day where you're not going to be able to have sex.
Exactly.
Never.
Never.
Ever.
'Cause it's just not going to work anymore. You know what I'm saying? So do what you can do now to, find different ways to be intimate. You got to make your woman happy. Vice versa, she's got to make her man happy as well, because,
You opening up a can of worms.
well, open them
Yeah,
then.
because the difference is, like she said, practice right now, because
Right.
a woman is always going to be a woman. And
Right.
ain't nothing you can do
But
to
that's
stop
exactly
her.
what we just said.
But a man, it's gonna come to a point where something might not work.
That's right.
So then what's going to happen then? So you better learn how to be intimate. You better learn how to hug her, caress her, talk sweet, nothing's in her ear, and just make her feel safe and comfortable. And sometimes you may feel like I don't have to do all of that. Because
That's
you
right.
can touch a person and not even have to touch him.
Let me say something.
Go ahead.
I want to talk to the younger folks. I don't know how many people we have who have maybe school-age children. Let me tell you something. Maybe one night we need to talk about the distribution of responsibilities in a home, because traditionally, when a woman gets home, she has to make sure that the meal is prepared. She has to make sure that homework is done. She has to make sure that baths are done. She has to make sure the agenda is checked. Traditionally, a woman does a lot. She has another full day of work whenever she gets home. Now, if Mr. Man is not chipping in to take some of the load off, help maybe with bath time, help maybe with homework time, maybe clean up the kitchen after dinner or cook dinner. If Mr. Man is not kicking in, I'm here to tell you, she's not about that, because she's tired. She is tired. And then whenever you get older, because she has spent all those years exhausted, it can cause issues later on. So, the distribution of responsibility is a big deal.
Right.
Yes.
And everything Miss Bev just said, all of the responsibilities that a woman has when she gets home doing this and that, she may not want sex, but just, rubbing her feet. That's a part of intimacy. That can make her feel good. Give her a massage. I mean, different things like that.
That's a love language. A love language at home is a man chipping in to help whenever the load is heavy. And that is sexy.
Yes,
that is
it
sexy
is.
to have a man that will chip in and say, I tell you what, I'll go and do this while you do that, and we'll get stuff done. Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm not going to agree or disagree. Okay?
It gets big points
Okay.
in the kitchen and the bedroom.
I'm going to try it. Anyway, some interesting points. Very interesting. And I hope our listeners out there, especially the men, could take heed of some of the things that were said. Since your woman won't tell you, I hope she relies on Chiquita, Teresa, and Beth to tell you the things that she won't tell him. Okay? That was the purpose of this. It was like an exercise. So fellas, you got to do better. We just really got to do better. We can't allow our spouses to carry the load. We have to show them more love, respect. We got to show them the trust, the time, loyalty, honesty, and the most important thing of all, the communication. Once we put all that together, I think we could have a happy, healthy relationship.
Sexy.
Yes.
Okay, sexy too.
Sexy. Because a lot of men don't feel like if they're at home, they have to be this way. But we need all that stuff at home instead of just being out for show. We be out in show, you want to hold hands and do all this kind of stuff, kissy, whatever. But as soon as they get home, a lot of them feel like, okay, we home now. It's okay. No, it shouldn't stop. Whatever it took to get her, you got to definitely do it to keep her.
So, is it different when you're at home and you're in public?
But a lot of men at home, and women too, I can't take it, but a lot of them get home, there's no affection. It's not a lot of affection. We want that. We need that attention, that affection at home. Walk up sometime and you're sitting down and say, hey, baby, I was just thinking I love you. But men, women would do it, seem like, but men, it's like,
Something's
y'all.
up. Something's going on here.
No, I'm just saying that. Am I right, Miss Beth? Am I right?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We'll be affectionate, but a lot of men at home, they just walk home, take their shoes off, throw them whatever, and they just on the couch and that's it. We need that same attention, because if you get it right in the living room, trust me, the rest is history. Mm-hmm. But you can't treat me like a doormat in the living room and think you're gonna get.
Okay.
I have heard it said that if you want to make love to a woman, you need to start early in the day. If you want to make love at night, you need to start early in the day.
And most of all, if you want to make love to a woman, you need to start with her mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's really getting deep. Chiquita?
Happy house, happy spouse.
I agree with Teresa. It starts with the mind. You have to make her want it. Mm-hmm. So then she's more in the mood when it's time, you know?
Okay, so you at work, she's at work, and you say you got to start early in the day. Just give me a quick example of how I'm going to do that.
Show affection. Say good morning, baby. I love you. I'm glad to see you this morning.
Okay.
Glad I woke up with you.
I'm at work now. What I'm going to do?
Send a text.
They were just thinking about you. Can't wait to get home.
Mm-hmm. Send a text.
Okay, I think that's very good.
She gets home from work and she's got flowers.
Interesting
Or
point.
wash those dishes.
Mm-hmm. Interesting point.
Dinner's already cooking. You smell it when you walk through the door.
Got an apron on.
Okay. I want you to hold on to the flowers because we're going to get to that in just a minute. Okay, we're going to go around the table and we're going to wrap this thing up tonight. Teresa, you want to start with Teresa? Oh, we're going to start with Beth then. Beth, you got anything you want to leave with our listeners?
You know, the golden rule applies at home. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Try to give what you would like to receive, right? If you want love, you need to give love. Mm-hmm. If you want compliments and you want affection and you want a helpmate, then be that person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Just in a nutshell to sum it up, because respect was the number one thing that men were looking for. You just got to earn that respect. Earn it.
Okay.
Learn how to satisfy her mind, and everything else will come with it.
Outstanding. Okay, gentlemen, you've heard it. You've heard it from somebody who gave you their honest opinion. Not everybody is going to agree. We don't expect you to. But you've heard it here. Before we go tonight, there's one thing I want to say. With the holidays coming up, fellas, if you're listening right now, I'm going to put you to the test. For every man that comes home with some roses in his hand and takes them to your spouse and says, Happy Valentine's Day. And she says, Valentine's Day? So baby, every day is Valentine's Day. And if you can prove that you did just that, we're going to take you and your spouse out to dinner right here on the RayMart Radio Show. It's all for you, and we're out.
It's the RayMart Radio Show.
Some of it you're going to like, some of it you ain't.
RayMart Radio.